All right, long ball number one here for Monday, May 12th. We got some heavier topics to cover here, so we're going to come back with, we're going to start the show with on-field action on Fridays. We asked for the Fab Four. Each member of the show, myself, Robert Kerr, him, Jason Davis, producer Jenny, and you, the chat, picked, the games we were highlighting on the weekend. So we'll kind of take a peek back and review if those were in fact the good games, maybe take a couple pieces here and there. Jenny led out the gate with Vancouver versus Los Angeles FC, the end of match day 12 in Major League Soccer. And Vancouver battled back from a 2-0 deficit to show why they are the class and they've got some staying power this season.
Yeah, obviously we're with this game being in Vancouver, you're giving an edge to the Whitecaps, especially considering how good they've been this season. But you never count LAFC out of any game at this point, even if they are not necessarily as sort of dominant a version of LAFC as we may have seen in the past. I mean, they still have Denis Bouanga, who is one of the 2 or 3 best attacking players in this league. But yeah, for Vancouver, you don't want to go down 2-0, but you definitely want to fight back and level the scoreline if you get it. It proved to be a great game. I mean, we didn't get a winner that's the thing you care about. Is like
very close. That last 5-10 minutes of that game was like hockey. It was like chance, run down the other end, chance, run down another chance, and they just wasn't enough to get in the back of the net to get the winner because there was plenty of opportunities for it.
Yeah, maybe a little El Clasico kind of vibe for those teams after what we witnessed over in Barcelona this weekend.
Yeah, that's a parallel, right? Vancouver versus LAFC, Barca, Real Madrid. We can draw that parallel.
The same. Yeah, 100%. They go back so long, their history. No, of course not. I mean, no, we're not putting it on the drama and the subplots of El Clasico, but we're saying like these are 2 very good teams in Major League Soccer. When they face off against one another, you want to see them be very good and entertaining and interesting, and we got that in this game. And this doesn't change, I think, anybody's perception that Vancouver is the best or one of the best teams in Major League Soccer. Now it's about staying power right now for them. And of course the CONCACAF Champions Cup final is coming, and they'll have that circled on their calendar, even as they're like, okay, got to stay strong in the league, got to continue to challenge for Supporter Shield, but obviously MLS Cup.
Before we move on, Bouanga, too good for Major League Soccer? Should he move on, or is he just like at that right level, just be an elevated player at this stage?
Well, I'm going to be selfish and say I don't want him to go anywhere. He's fun to watch. Of course, I want him to stay in MLS. Does he have, is he a Cucho Hernandez kind of player where there could be a destination for him abroad? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know what kind of offer it would take. I know I think he just had a contract negotiation happen. So there's reason. MLS cannot be a league that holds on to players to the detriment of those players' career, to the detriment of the league itself in terms of being a platform for players like Cucho Hernandez or others to play at a higher level, and then that reflects back well on Major League Soccer, right? That's
and to be fair, Major League Soccer is just now starting to shake that, because there was a time where going to Major League Soccer, you were kind of stuck there, and a lot of moves didn't happen because of Major League Soccerism. So they definitely don't want to reverse course there. Game 2 from our Fab 4 review. Jason, you plucked a matchup from the USL Championship, New Mexico and Phoenix Rising, a battle in the Southwest of the United States in the championship.
Yeah, I mean, I picked it because I had just received my. Oh, Rob, are you okay? All right, they're live shows. That's what happens. I picked it because we had just gotten our New Mexico United jerseys from our friend Ron Patel, who had been on the show. And last place, Phoenix Rising, went to Albuquerque and won the game. Now, it helped that there was a red card in that match for New Mexico United. It helped Phoenix's chances, but a little bit of a surprise, a little bit of a shock in terms of the result, even though I picked it mostly because there is a rivalry there, as our friend Nicholas Murray pointed out in our chat on Friday. So it's not like I just picked something that nobody cares about. These two teams don't like each other in that regard. And I thought, hey, maybe there's something here. And sure enough, we get a result that maybe surprised some people, because New Mexico has certainly had a much better season so far than Phoenix Rising.
The third game of the Fab Four was, I picked, a little bit of a troll pick on my behalf. It was a bit of a toilet bowl pick, Toronto versus DC United, who would get a rare win, and it turned out to be Toronto? What? And the goal scorer, Lorenzo Insigne? What? So didn't expect that. Said some not so pleasant things towards the Italian for Toronto, but he ends up coming through with like his third goal in like a year.
Never go in against an Italian when that's a Sicilian, the specific kind of Italian. All right, I messed up the Princess Bride quote.
And, this isn't live, so we can just try it again.
We'll just fix it in post. No, look, DC's in trouble. Troy Lesesne has to be in trouble. I know there's talk about a summer signing or two that may help DC from a talent perspective, but and I don't blame Troy Lesesne entirely because I don't think that they built that squad very well coming into the new season. But we've seen managers get fired for less, and when you lose to a team that is in such a rebuild like Toronto is and has a bunch of dead weight or seem to have some dead weight, you lose in that manner. And I think Troy Lesesne was in a post-game press conference talking about effort. And you're talking about effort, that's the last refuge, right? That's the real warning sign that things might be coming to a quick and swift end. But I'm not hoping for that for Troy Lesesne. I'm hoping that DC finds a way in the summer window to bring him some players. But in the meantime, like as you drift further and further down the table, is your season salvageable becomes a question.
Correction, Lorenzo Insigne, his first goal of the season, first one in quite some time. And for TFC, that is just their second win of the season, 2 wins out of 12. That brings them within 2 points of DC United after 12 games. The two of them only have 22 points combined. So tough times in both Toronto and the nation's capital. And then the fourth pick of the Fab Four from the weekend, Philadelphia Union versus the Columbus Crew. I got to see some of this. I did some tifo painting over the weekend, had this game on in the background. Another comeback and another exciting game, and the Crew proving they are hard to beat.
Yeah, this is another top of the table thing that like delivered, right? Two elite teams in Major League Soccer delivering an entertaining match, right? And an incredible kind of back and forth affair. Obviously, you get the Zawadzki equalizer in added time, which felt a little unfair to Philadelphia, right? I think they very well could argue that they deserved to win this game. The Westfield goal, like I don't know if any players ever hit a ball better than Westfield did to score that one for Philadelphia. Ty Baribo, I think that was his first goal in a while. He had led the league in scoring off of a very hot start. I double check that, but I know there's also an offside goal, but good to see him back on the score sheet. I imagine if you're a Philadelphia Union fan, the Arston goal, lovely stuff. Got a chance to talk to him on the radio last week. So I'm going to take some credit because clearly coming on the radio did well for Max Arston. It was also obviously getting some love as a U.S. international. And it was interesting to hear him talk about the difference between playing for Columbus and for the national team, because they play a back four with the national team. He plays with a back three in Columbus. So he is a wing back, and he is a guy who gets up the field. And there it was in evidence with that goal, which at the time was an equalizer for Columbus before Philly added one. And then again, Zawadzki with the added time equalizer again. So incredible stuff.